Yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Elevate Your Leadership podcast. My name is Paul Crotto, and I'm here with the amazing Cheryl Morley.
Hi there.
Cheryl, you got a very cool background. We are now official. Like, they say you got to get going. So we got going. We didn't have any backgrounds or anything really. So it's been a challenge getting this podcast up and running. But we now have a background thanks to Becca.
Hey, I like to say things, Paul, like better late than never.
Better late than never. That's another good one.
That's right.
Well, Cheryl, we have a very awesome topic for today. We're actually working out of the book, The 15 Laws of Growth by John Maxwell, and we're on law number 9, the law of the ladder, which states that character growth determines the height of your personal growth.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I am pretty sure that I have never looked at it like that before.
Yeah, it's a super interesting topic, especially where we are in the world today, because character has never been a bigger problem than it is now. And we're talking about leadership. We're trying to create leaders and be better leaders ourselves. And it has to start on the inside with character, having the integrity. And, I work with you, Cheryl, because I have never met anyone with the kind of character integrity that you have. And I know that we have partnered here at the Institute of Holistic Health. We've partnered with a company called Youngevity, and it's a health and wellness company. And, we've searched in our entire lives to find a company that actually has integrity out there, because it's super hard to find. You think, well, there's just a few bad apples. No, there's not. There's a lot of bad apples. As a matter of fact, most of the apples are bad. So it's super hard to find the companies with integrity out there, the leaders with integrity out there, because it's so easy to cut corners. I'm going to cut this little corner here, save a little money, I need to make a little extra profit. And what happens is there's a spiral thing that ends up happening where you just, I'll cut another one. And then you start doing these wrong things, which leads to this massive corruption in people. And, Cheryl and I battle this as we've dedicated our whole lives to battling the corruption that's out there, especially in the drug industry. Yeah, there's no industry in the world that is more corrupt than the drug industry. So there's 500 companies, obviously, in the Fortune 500. 5 of them are drug companies. If you add up the profits of those 5 companies together, they're greater than the other 495 added together, which is unbelievable. Now, let me just go over some numbers here. And you can, I'm dying to hear your comments on this, because I know you get hot under the collar with this topic. So here we have a company called Pfizer, and over the years, they've been sued over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, they paid out $28 billion worth of lawsuits from being so corrupt and killing so many people. But yet the FDA continues to approve the drugs and the vaccines that they create. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Paul, just a second. I'd like to come right on in here and say a little something. Okay, because you are just real talkative today. Okay, so the interesting thing to me is before they even make a drug, before the drug even comes out on the market, then they calculate everything. They calculate how much money they'll have to pay out. They calculate how many people they think will die and how many people they know will die. They calculate how much they'll have to pay, like I said, out in the lawsuits, and they calculate all that into the cost of the drug and the cost of everything else. So they already know. They know that people will die, and they know that they will have to pay that money out. But they calculate it all in before the drug even comes to market. Now, when I heard that, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean you have to calculate in the number of people that'll die, the amount you think you'll have to pay out in lawsuits and everything else? I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. I was like, no, what? I don't know. I have no words to say what I think about that, because that would not be good here on the podcast. But let me just say that if any other company did that in the world, like if the airplane company said, well, we're going to figure in the price of your ticket, but we need to figure in all the people that we're going to kill on the planes and the lawsuits we think that that are going to happen because of that. And then you guys will pay the cost of your ticket will cover all of those things that we have to pay out, which is exactly what the drug companies do.
Exactly, Cheryl. Now, when you say that, how many people exactly die per day from taking a prescription drug that their doctor told them to take?
Well, 493.
493. So if Delta Airlines killed 493 people a day,
yeah,
how long would Delta be open for?
1 day.
A half a day, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So it's just so bad, out there. And we want to get this information out to the public so you understand that money drives everything. So let's just pretend we own Pfizer. So Cheryl and I, we own Pfizer. We make a lot of money. But listen, our sales aren't doing that good. And our stock's not doing that good. So sales drive the stock price up. Better sales, better stock. Stockholders coming down on us hard. Cheryl, we need more money. We need the sales to go up. Now, what level will people go to make that stock go up, to make the sales go up?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sickening to the stomach.
Yeah.
What they've done to this country, to this world, creating viruses, it's unbelievable. And the lies are just nonstop. So it's for Cheryl and me, we have to find a company. That's why we started the Institute of Holistic Health. We want to get the information out there about the corruption and also about the right way to do things.
That's right. I love that because I think that people don't know. I think so many people that I've come across, they don't understand that there's another way, right? So as you get older, all of your friends start getting on drugs. Everybody's on drugs. You think that's normal. You don't know, so many people that I've talked to, they don't know that there's another way, that another choice that they have. You can choose something different than just taking drugs. You can, even if all your friends are taking them. There is another way. And that's what I love the most about the holistic, this whole program that we have, the holistic health certification, all of that is because it helps people understand that there is another way, and then allows them to go out and let other people know the same.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cheryl, I know what you just said there about being around people, so you got to be around the right type of people, because if you're around the wrong type of people, you can be persuaded to do the wrong kind of things.
Right.
So in your life, I know you've been now with Dr. Wallach for over 25 years. So between Dr. Wallach and Steve Wallach and Michelle Wallach, you've been surrounded by people that have the utmost integrity and character that I've ever seen in my life. What has that done for you in your life?
Oh, well, I think it changed the whole trajectory years ago, right? Because I met him when I was very young and really, I don't know. I mean, I was at Taco Bell, right? And so I was in survival mode. Like my entire life, as I look back, I was in survival mode the entire time. And really it's, the integrity of the people that I was able to surround myself with, starting with Dr. Wallach, just really changed everything. And it allowed me to see and experience what true integrity is, right? What it really is. Because like you said earlier, Paul, they can do whatever they want, right? And here's the crazy thing. I remember when we were just in Orlando at the manufacturing plant, Jim saying that you only have to have 90% of what's on the label in the bottle, right? So if you have a bottle of supplements or whatever, then you only have to have 90% of it in the bottle, that what's on the label. And he said, and I said, oh, that's interesting. And he said, yes, and that is what everybody does. But you can rest assured, Cheryl, that in our bottles, whatever is not only whatever is on the label is in the bottle, but 110% is in the bottle of what the label states. So it's not 90, it's not 95, it's 110. So we even go the extra mile, which to me really speaks of integrity and of character. And, and those are the type of people that I want to work with. Those are the type of people that I want in my life.
Yes, Sheila, not only is it the 110% of what they say is in there, but the quality of the ingredient itself, where it's coming from, how it's grown.
Right.
That type of thing is also at the highest level. And we spent a lot of time talking about the corruption and the lack of integrity in the drug industry, prescription drug industry, but we're going to be talking a lot more about the corruption in the health and wellness industry. It's you think, we're in an industry that doing good for people, but learning about so many companies now, the majority of companies not putting what they say is in the bottle, and people saying, well, I took that, but it never worked for me. Well, right. That's because you're taking it from a company that's got no integrity. Right. Who even knows what's in the bottle?
Yeah, I think that's so right, Paul. And I think that that there is something to be said about that, right? I mean, you have to know and trust and really kind of, well, I think trust the person that you're talking to. And I think that's why I'm so blessed that we've got, holistic health coaches that have learned these things, know these things, and are able to go out and share the message.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I met with a gentleman that owns another nutrition company. I'm not going to mention his name, but he came out and said to me at lunch, we would not put those ingredients into our products because they're too expensive. Yep. We just, you got to make, not only do we put the ingredients in there that you need, like in our selenium and the highest quality of selenium there is, but we also put everything else in there that makes selenium work. I think there's like 37 different ingredients in our selenium bottle. So you're not just buying the one mineral, you're buying all the cofactors with it that make it work. And I love what Jim, the gentleman that runs the facility in Orlando, said, that you should never apologize for price. Because if your product is that good and that high quality, of course it's going to cost more. Now, if you want to buy cheaper versions of different things, you can, but know that the quality and the integrity is not going to be there.
Right.
That's simple as that.
Yeah.
Getting back to John, in this chapter here, the size of your character determines how high you can climb. And Shelley, I know you like the part in this chapter about a gentleman coming up to John Maxwell and asking him to write a book on business ethics.
That was so funny. And he was like, no, or whatever. And then they kind of sat down and thought about it. And the thing that they kind of came up with is there's no such thing as business ethics. There is just ethics. Yeah. And I love that. Yeah. I love that. There's not a difference between ethics and business ethics. It's all the same.
Either you got ethics or you don't. Period. The end.
Right.
And that'll carry over to every area of your life.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love the next part, Paul, where it says the inside always influences the outside. And I thought a lot about that. And I was like, that is so true. Whatever you have on the inside, really who you are, you might be able to cover up the outside for a little bit, but sooner or later, it's going to come out. It will come out in different ways. It will come out maybe a little bit at a time. But if you're rotten on the inside, it's going to come out on the outside, right? I mean, that's just true. And if you're good and a great person, and I always think about, you might not see it right at first, right? Because you might be struggling and fighting and surviving and all of those things. And so it might be kind of hard to see. But whatever is on the inside, your real true feelings, who you are, I always like to say, in your soul, the type of person that you are, that to me is integrity, then it will come out. It will come out sooner or later.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And So I think a big way to have more or better character, live the way we're supposed to live, doing the right things, is this concept of having humility. And I love this word, that character is strengthened when you have humility. And really, to me, humility is understanding your purpose in life. Like my purpose, the reason why God put me on this planet, is to help elevate people, help people elevate their life. And I know, sure, we're both we feel like we're walking our purpose, living our purpose. And there's a lot of humility in that this isn't us, it's God, and it's what we're put here for. And we respect that and dedicate every moment of our lives to living out that purpose.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, and I think it's so interesting because we always talk about how, everything that you have, the money, things, cars, Paul, you guys were just talking about, you just got a new car. That's so awesome. But I mean, it will wear off, right? I mean, it's nice that you got a new car, but that feeling and that feeling of woo and elation, that's gonna wear off.
Don't ruin it yet, Cheryl. I still have that, so.
Okay,
I know what you mean.
Give it a month. Give it a month,
mean,
and then you're gonna be no. But the point I wanted to make is you have to feel fulfilled in some way, and the only way that I've ever felt fulfilled and like I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing is when I'm helping other people. Like you said, elevate their life.
Better,
I mean, that's really what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cheryl, I know John talked about in this chapter, this is something that very interesting, is that working on your weaknesses builds character.
I know, and it's so funny because I was all excited. I was just telling you like a week ago how excited I was when I heard that and I don't even remember what book it was from. Maybe it was a podcast, but I was the most excited person on earth because I'm like, I finally get it. I'm not supposed to be working on my weaknesses. I'm supposed to be working on my strengths. I was so excited. And then I heard this and I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? I don't want to work on my weaknesses. And I love that John said that it's always a little harder to work on your weaknesses than your strengths.
It absolutely is.
Yikes.
But that there's no question, when you can admit that, hey, I have these weaknesses in my life, these different areas, and I'm working to make those better, which is the whole elevate your life concept where we're trying to identify problems. Of course, we want to recognize the celebrations and the great things that are happening, and we're extremely grateful. We're satisfied, we're happy, but we understand that there's a gap between, and we're going to be talking about this next week, Cheryl, and I know it's your favorite topic. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to get to. So that gap is everything. That gap is what builds character, closing that gap and working on those weaknesses. And there's something in between my two fingers, and that's a problem inside of all of us. There's a reason why we're not at our goals yet. So we got to work on ourselves, and it's really the whole premise of this chapter is that it's got to start from the inside. The inside victories always precede the outside victories. So we got to work on ourselves inside first. And one of the things, when we're working on ourselves inside is asking for help. We talk about finding an accountability partner all the time so that they can hold us to the flame there and make sure we do what we say we're going to do.
Yeah, well, one thing I like to do, Paul, is I have no problem. You said a little earlier that you sometimes it helps build character when you can say that you have a weakness. I have no problem. I know all sorts of weaknesses I have. I just like to ignore them. That's what I
know
like
you do. Which we have something to talk about after this call or in the near future here, because I had a very enlightening conversation when I was in Tampa.
Well, I love the whole idea of an accountability partner because that really does kind of light a fire under me. I don't know about you guys, but I do like having an accountability partner.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And The other thing, Cheryl, is, and this is, I know, something near and dear to your heart when you talk about going from fine to fabulous, helping women go from fine to fabulous.
Yeah.
It really has to start with self-respect.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And gosh, I'd love to, not today, of course, but I would love to get even more into that. Like, how does that happen? How can you feel more self-respect? How can you, and I know it has things to do with the cookie jar and everything like that, that we talk about, but I love to just be aware, all of us be aware that self-respect is a very big deal. And the more self-respect that you have for yourself will really make a difference in your life and in the lives of the other people in your close circle.
Absolutely. And Cheryl, I know we talked before this call about if you don't respect yourself, how in the world do you expect someone else to respect you?
Yeah.
It just won't happen. So it's a
Right.
super important thing to be aware of, like Cheryl just mentioned, and it's a big part of building your character. And I think it starts with really respecting yourself, and that's gonna from there everything else can be built. But without self-respect, I don't think any of this matters. We shouldn't even bother talking about it because you got to have that first.
Right.
So, all right, awesome topic, Cheryl. I love this concept. I love law number 9. We're going to be doing law number 10 next week, the law of the rubber band. So those of you that are following along, make sure you read that chapter. And we'll be back here next Thursday to help you elevate your leadership even more. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye, you guys.